flag. That means any violation of human rights means that UNAIDS, SOC, the very image of India as an emerging economy could be threatened. So it is imperative, even if it is a red flag, that we include people with disabilities at all our planning in everything. That was like a warning. The second trend that I would like to share with you is something to do with a wonderful concept that our friend here belongs to, the profession. It is called the Universal Design Principle. It is a fantastic technique and tool that is already available, guidelines are there, and it's a significant and emerging trend. Universal design is a human-centered approach, and it focuses on products and business practices which make life for everyone comfortable, safer, healthier, convenient. Isn't that fantastic? It is for everyone. So this is something that universal design as a technique, as a tool is already available to design products, services, infrastructure. So this is kind of a purple flag, a flag of possibilities, of potential. The third very important trend is that going to make you sit up in your seat. I would like to just ask you, who is not disabled? We always see and look at people who are on wheelchairs, who wear hearing aids, or who have a cane in their hands, or maybe have glasses, a guide dog, and we presume that the person would be disabled. Let me just try to explain to you, and I think Dr. Poddar touched upon it briefly, is that the definition of disability by the time we have a smart cities coming up is going to be very broad. Already there is environmental degradation, and there are a lot of children who are born with disabilities, and the media and a lot of government agencies are not really coming out in the open. But when we talk to doctors who go out for camps right here in Maharashtra, Jalna, there are so many children who are born with disabilities, and it is all because of environment degradation. We ourselves had a professor who had never smoked a cigarette in his life, but just smoked the pollution and had pulmonary fibrosis. Diabetes. What happens? You have diabetic foot, you need wheelchairs, you need orthotic legs. So that is also a way of disability. Cardiovascular conditions. India tops in terms of number of people who have cardiac issues. Temporarily disabled due to accidents. Accidents is the biggest cause of disability. I myself have a spine injury, and our NGO Nina Foundation, each year, the number of people who have spine injury because of accidents is increasing. Cancer, kidney failure, health issues due to deformities, chemicals, pesticides, old age related issues. The geriatric population of a country is going to rise, the quality of life is going to improve, and thus a lot of people are going to have rheumatoid or arthritis, they're going to have knee issues, shoulder issues, and everybody at some point or the other are going to need social infrastructure with the same facilities that we today, people with disabilities, want. 2015, the statistics say that 11% of a population is disabled, which means 13.75 crore of 137 million. 2035, that is when we will have 100 cities, smart cities. We presume with all these kind of disabilities which will come into the picture, the definition of disability will be broadened, and we will have almost 50% of a population whom we call as disabled. Alarming. So, right now, we need to plan and prepare. As people with disabilities will no longer be special. Today, we are called as a minority, a special category. But we will no longer be special because we will be almost 50%. And what our effort needs to be is to create a more equal nation. That means right now we are saying make special facilities for PWDs, but no, we require more equal nation. So we need more inclusive approach where we are talking of the design of the entire infrastructure, technology, products and services to have features. Like right now, a smartphone have features for the visually impaired. Hari uses it. We have a smartphone where you have so many other features which normally people who have low vision, etc., use it. But that is what we're looking at. More and more products and infrastructure which are meant for all. We need to create an enabling environment. Right now, the kind of environment that we all face is full of barriers. An enabling environment makes us provide an infrastructure where the fullest potential of people is exploited. So social infrastructure, I'll just come to various aspects that when we are designing and planning, all these are included. Shelter, health, education, income, whether it is employment, the corporate sector or enterprise. We have safety, recreation and leisure, cultural expression. All these are meant for everybody. Accessible public places and physical inbuilt infrastructure. We are talking about accessibility. When we say accessibility, it is railings, ramps, braille maps. We require auditory signals. All these are built in the social infrastructure, which are useful for everyone who have either dexterity, sensory, or mobility issues. So we have airports, railway stations, banks, post office, shops, malls, road surfaces. Okay, how I ride my wheelchair on a particular road matters so much. We are talking about Barcelona, we are talking about Europe. I can move around freely on a wheelchair when I'm there. Out here, I require 4 people to move me on the surfaces that we built. This is not independent living. This is not living with dignity. This is seeking help throughout the way. Curb cuts. Who understands curb cuts in our country here? I even watch elderly citizens when they are trying to get onto the footpath. It is like almost 1.5 to 2 feet high. And I reach out saying that, may I help you? Because anybody could fall. And no wonder the orthopedic clinics are doing extremely well. The footpath, sorry. You're a doctor, so I looked at you. The places of tourist interest. When Stephen Hawking landed in India and desired his interest to visit the Taj Mahal, the Qutub Minar, and even in Mumbai, guess what? Everything was made accessible in a short notice. Why? Because he was a foreign citizen and a disabled, we are all taxpayers. We are all patriotic citizens of this country, and we do not get to see any of the heritage sites. People go to view the Grand Canyon, which is more than 100 years old and completely disabled friendly, but in our country, none of the heritage sites are accessible. If we could do it when Stephen Hawking came here, I'm sure we could do it permanently. Right, Mr. Rohit? Places of worship. None of the places of worship are accessible. Slowly and gradually, people are developing the interest to make them temporarily accessible. Even parking areas. There are defined parking areas for people who drive themselves, park themselves, and move on their wheelchairs or their canes, if they are visually challenged. Accessibility goes beyond just ramps, railings, disabled-friendly classrooms. auditoriums, amphitheaters, cafeterias, canteens, administration offices, all corporate offices, government, public, private spaces to accessible for people with disability. This is the accessibility that we are talking about. All nursing homes, hospitals, diagnostic centers. Quite a few of our members who are on wheelchairs have to struggle to actually go to a private diagnostic center to get their MRIs, the sonographies, etc. done. It is such a huge struggle. Dentists, Ayurvedic, homeopathic clinics, naturopathic clinics, and even obesity. Yes. So we are talking about transportation, even public transportation, whether the metros, etc. I'll take you through very quickly a pictorial journey of the kind of challenges that people with disability face. As I told you, a person on wheelchair would require almost 2 to 4 people to help you up and down the steps. Washroom. Nobody really has a concept of we should also have washrooms which are accessible to people with disabilities. There is a small stepping, kind of a step, which is again extremely difficult for a person on wheelchairs to get it. This is a metro station at Gurgaon station. This is access point. Everything about the metro station is accessible, but how do you get out and onto the street? How do you get it? So the holistic planning and design thinking is lacking. Again, wherever we go, there are steps and we need help. This is a street. We have railway compartments which says for disabled. But none of the railway stations have a ramp. So it is always steps that you go up and down, except for Sion railway station in Mumbai, no station is this. Now, we keep thinking, okay, how do we get into that compartment which has been earmarked for us? We're still trying to work out a creative solution. A playground. Why not children with disabilities get an opportunity? You look at the surface of this playground, a walker cannot get onto that. ATM, why can't we do a banking by ourselves? We are just not able to reach that particular ATM to withdraw. Special classrooms, even for elections, it's pure appetite. Obstacles, barriers, we just cannot. We want to go and elect a government, and we do get there, whatever it is. But the media also talks about it, that none of the booths are accessible. Delhi is not disabled friendly. There is a huge audit which has been done there. So what are our expectations? Our expectations are there is already a model existing. Throughout the morning, we've been talking about smart cities and how it is convenient and comfortable for entire ecosystem, for everybody. And we already have these guidelines, as I told you about universal design principles. It is right there. We have to just kind of implement it into our, people would like to go on the beach. We have the best coastline in India. And there are possibilities that one can get onto the beach like this on a wheelchair. We have ramps for stations. Whoever has traveled abroad, they keep coming back to me and saying that, oh, the trains are accessible and the buses are accessible. Yes, it is just the mindset, the will. If we set a mind to do it, we can do it. There is so much of technology which is already available, and mind you, they're all Indian engineers, Indian architects, Indian technologies worldwide who are creating this revolution. In India, I do not know what is the stumbling block that we are not getting there. Multiplexes, why not? Why should we sit at home and watch a movie? We would like to go out to the theaters and watch a play and a movie. Even the multiplexes and theaters can be made disabled friendly. Heritage property, as I told you, most of the heritage thing. This is in a railway compartment. This is an accessible washroom. This is on the Euro range. On the left-hand side is a surface, the beautiful gravel surface for wheelchairs where one can ride beautifully. On the right-hand side is actually the inside of an elevator, which is at a level that I on a wheelchair or somebody who is visually impaired can click, and move on. Because everywhere we are talking about independent living without any assistance. Because this gives you the dignity to conduct your own business without any help. You have accessible stadiums, basketball courts, which are available for people with disability. On the left-hand side is a stair lift. Even if there are steps, one can go up and down. And then wheelchair in every premise. Every premise must have a wheelchair, so even if there is a senior citizen or anyone can utilize it. Very quickly, 3E solution. Empathy. And empathetic leadership and empathy to feel and understand what almost 80 million people in India who are disabled are confined indoors and are, not able to exploit the full potential can do. An enabling environment. It is easily possible if we set our minds to execution. I recommend that each and every person who are part of the smart city read the book by Kim Bossady on execution, because to implement something, you require a particular approach. And even though I may sound a very, very keen loyalist, I would like to mention here that we have somebody like Dr. Salung